Alright, so today I'm going to save the location in between my game sessions. So let's say you're playing, you're in a maze, and you spent an hour or so looking for this coin for the next level, and now you have to quit. Alright, when you come back to play, you don't want to have to start from the spawn area, right? You want to start where you left off. And I thought that's pretty cool. We're facing the right direction, we're in the right location, and then we can continue playing. So let's go ahead and get a fresh world and see how that's done. So if you've done any of this, if you've tried to save off location, you'll notice that C-frames don't save. And I got a trick for that. It's not a secret. I've seen it in a lot of forums. Let's go ahead and put a brick here so we have a place that we can stand where we know we're not on our spawn location. And now let's go to server script service, hit the plus sign, add a script, and I'm going to call this save location. And you can save all your data here. It doesn't just have to be just location. All right, so first thing we got to do is we got to publish a game. And I'll say save location data maybe. There we go, that's good enough. And now go back to game settings, go to security, enable studio access to API services. You need this for the data store. And the data store is going to allow you to save things in between your games, right? So when you come back, stop the game, come back, and you start again, you're going to have your saved data. So let's go ahead and get a data store service, game get service, data store service, and then we'll get a data store from the data store service. So get data store. You can call it whatever you want. So my location data, right? But it's got to be unique within your experience. So if you have multiple data stores in your game, name these differently. All right, so now what else do we need? Let's get session data, local session data. Let's declare session data. So we're gonna put all of our players in here that are playing at the time and the associated data, which in this case is just the data store stuff, or just the location stuff. So let's make a function for adding a player, right? And the player got passed in. Let me move that. And then we'll make another function for saving local function, save location. And I'm going to pass the player into that too. Oh my gosh, I can't, my hands are cold. All right, and then we're going to do a save loop, right? So save loop. This is going to run periodically, independent of the player. So we're going to save all the players in the session data in the save loop. Cool. And now we need something for when we remove a player. So when we leave the game, remove player, and that will also have a player passed in. All right, so now we have a few game events, right? So game players, player added, so that's when you join the game. We're going to connect that to the add player function. Cool. And now let's do one for players removed, right? Or player removed. There we go, player removing, that's it. There we go. Connect, and we have remove player. Cool, get rid of those two extra parentheses. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to spawn the save loop, right? So it's going to be in its own thread. That's what that spawn is. It just spawns off its own thread. Cool. So this will be independent. This will be running all the time. That way, if somebody disconnects and they don't leave intentionally, you're still going to have save points. All right, let's start with our player, our add player. So let's start saving data right away. What we're going to do is we're going to get a variable for the data, right? We're going to get async. So we're going to call the data store with this get async function or method. If it's 2 dots, it's a method. If it's 1 dot, it's a function. That's the Roblox methodology, right? So we'll use the player user ID as the key for the player data, and then we need the character from the player, right? So do player.character or player.character added wait in case the character is still not ready, because this is going to be called right when we're entering the game. The reason we need that is we need the HRP, the humanoid root part. We get that from the character. We'll do a wait for child, in case it's assembling, humanoid root part, and now we can get the character's location or set the character's location so we can teleport them to where the data was saved off if we have data. So if it's a new player, we're not going to have data. So we're going to say if not data, then session data player will equal, we're going to make this table with location, right? That's the key. And then these are all curly brackets. So I have two sets of curly brackets. So this is a table inside of a table, right? And this table is going to have the HRP's CFrame, but the CFrame won't save because it's user data. We need to get the components of the CFrame. There we go. Now that is savable, the components. So curly bracket, curly bracket, curly bracket, curly bracket. These are just parentheses. Cool beans. That's all we need. We're just going to initialize that. All right, now, otherwise, else, we have data. We found data, right? So the session data player is going to equal the data, right? So we're going to get the data, put it in the session data. And now we have to get the CFrame from the data that we stored, right? So we'll just call that CF. And we're going to create a new CFrame because we didn't save it as a CFrame. We saved it as its individual components. We're going to use this table unpack, and then we'll do session data for the player dot loc, right? So table unpack is going to unpack this components, this GEP components for the HRP, CFrame, GEP components, so that we can create a CFrame a new CFrame, right? And the components in this CFrame right here, the components that we're getting is the X, Y, and Z, so the location data of the player, and then we're getting a rotational matrix, a 3x3 rotational matrix. So there's actually 9 components of the GET components for the CFrame. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tiny bit of a wait here because for some reason this does not stop the script and we won't be able to teleport until this is complete. So it's kind of funny like that. It took me a while to figure out what's going wrong. So we'll take the HRP, we'll set the CFrame to whatever this was. So when we saved it off and then we got it again, that's going to teleport us to where we are, to where we want to be, right? Where we left. Cool beans. So now let's save the location. Let's do the save location. Oh, and we can copy stuff, right? We're going to need this stuff, the character in the HRP. Control C. Let's put that there. Boom. Cool. All right. And then we're going to get our session data. Let's move up. There we go. Session data player dot loc will be this right. Look at that. It'll be this right here. Boom. All right, there we go. Cool beans. So we're basically just updating the location in our session data. And then we'll do a, am I missing something here? Because usually when it doesn't do the, oh, there we go. When it doesn't do the auto indent, you might have an error somewhere, but I don't think I was. So now I'm going to do a data store set async. This is actually going to set the data at the data store. So we'll say user ID. And what data do we want to send? Well, we can send this. Control C. Boom. Cool. And that'll work. That'll be good. Let's do our save loop, right? So the save loop is going to save everybody's data that's playing on that server. I'm going to do a while loop, so while true do. Then maybe we'll do a little bit of wait in between. I'm only going to make it 5 seconds for this for testing. You might want to expand that out because that's going to be a lot of data calls. And then we're going to do a for loop. So for players, PLY and V in pairs, session data, do, all right, we'll do save location. and then pass in the PLY, the player, right? That's cool. So that's just going to keep on running throughout the game, periodically saving people's locations. So if they leave unexpectedly, like there's a crash, they're only going to be like 5 seconds behind. You probably want this to be longer, like maybe 30 seconds or something. All right. And then for remove player, what do? We're going to do one final save location with the player, and we'll do a session data player. We're going to set that to nil, right? Because they're gone. Now, the one thing that you really have to watch, in fact, I think I'm going to put the session data above it. In Studio, we're going to leave so quickly that this save location is not going to fire in time, right? And we don't need the session data in here for this one. Yes, we do. Scratch that, put that here, right? Just be aware, in Roblox Studio, this is not going to finish. I'll watch this. I'll even put a little print statement here. I'll say print, I am finished. Right. When you're playing it, it'll be fine, right? Because especially if there's multiple people, the server will keep running. The last person leaving, the server might shut down, but chances are it's not going to shut down quick enough where your data store is going to freeze, right? But let's go ahead and try it, see what we got. I should have put more print statements in there. I didn't put any print statements. Anyway, here's my red block. I'm going to stand on the red block. I'm going to leave. Boom. See that? I'm finished. Never fired, right? But it should have. But that's going to happen. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that because Roblox Studio just shuts down so fast. And there we are. We're back on the red block. That was successful. That was kind of cool. So just remember, the takeaway of this is you can't store the CFrame directly. You have to use the get components, right? You have to store the individual components. You'll get a UTF error, some sort of data error for your data store. So what we do is we just break it down into its individual components. All right, hopefully that works for you, and I will see you in the next video.